name is Colin Miller, and I reached the rank of Wing Commander before I was compulsory retired on the 17th of September 1993. I had 11 years in the Navy, from September 56 to July 67. Then I switched across to the Air Force in July 67. Went down, did my normal officer training school. Then got posted to I got posted to Department of Air, and then moved to 5 Squadron, where Wing Commander John Paul was the CO, and I got on quite well with him. Some people don't, but I got on quite well with him. And he was the one who recommended that I look at going to 9 Squadron. So we chatted about it, and as far as I know, I'm the only admino that's come from 5 to 9. All the others have come from outside. So it helped me in that I knew a lot of the pilots, and the ground crew as well. That helped me when I got to 9 Squadron, because I flew a lot with the guys, mainly so that I could understand the types of pressures that they were under. I got on very well with them. I knew them, they knew me. I was much older than them. I was 31 when I went up there. Most of the aircrew were about, apart from the senior guys, were mid-20s, maybe, early 20s. I still keep in touch with some of them, because I march with the association down here in Brisbane every year. Now my role was basically doing all the administration. I had to look after things like unit standing orders, daily routine orders, a weekly situation report back to the department. That was a classified report that went back. I looked after all the R&R, the travel down and back to where, depending on where they were going. I looked after changeover of personnel, submission of honours and awards, discipline, which was interesting, and also reporting casualties and medevacs. I had an unfortunate occasion in July 70 where we had an aircraft that crashed and burnt. LAC Duncan McNair was severely burnt. We had him transferred to the 3 Field Hospital in Saigon. But he subsequently died on the 20th of July. His wife actually flew up, and that was a one-off, because I've never heard of a wife being given approval to come into an operational area. She came via Hong Kong. She was not a happy lady, because she was delayed in Hong Kong, and my understanding was she was delayed because of getting approval for her to go into the operational area, which is in Saigon. But she came, and I had to fly down and meet her and basically make sure she was okay, and then had to go down and then farewell her when she left. So that wasn't very nice. But I flew a lot with the guys. The CO, who was Peter Coy at that stage, we did a trip up to 2 Squadron at Phan Rang, which is much further north. And we had to fly up to about 7,000 feet and then drop down. We refueled at Ham Tam, then back up, and then on to Phan Rang, and the same coming back. And that was most unusual, because normally I didn't fly with the CO. I got grounded 1 month by the CO because I got more hours up than he did. Anyway, because the procedure was that when he was flying, I did all the work, and then anything he needed to sign, look at, I took the files up and put him on his bunk, so that when he came back from flying, he did it, and then I'd go and collect them in the morning and come back. So that's the way we operated. I flew one sortie with the Bushrangers. The Bushrangers are the ones that had the rockets on the outside, and it was a night mission flying over the long high hills. So they took me up, and that was quite an experience. Well, I thought we were quite efficient. It was interesting. We had a little bit to do with the Americans, but we had a very good equipment officer who used to go over and see the Americans, and it's amazing what you could barter with. And if we were short of particular pieces of equipment, we managed to end up getting it. We did a lot of medevacs. We had a lot to do with the SAS and the SAS insertions. They were operating out of Nui Dat, which is about 35 k's north of where we were. And I mean, I was fortunate enough to sit in on a SAS briefing. Whether that was because of the position I held or what, and the security clearance that I had. I didn't go on the insertion. That's not my area. When I came back, I was posted into the department where I was involved with honours and awards, and I was also the contact point for all the Air Force chaplains. So, you know, I got to meet quite a lot of different sorts of people. Then I was posted to Melbourne, and then I was selected to do a language course, and I did 2 years as the Assistant Defence and Air Attaché in Jakarta. Came back, did Staff College, and then I was posted into Joint Exercise Planning. After that, I came back and I did the Amberley. I did 3 years at Amberley. I ended up as the CO of the Admin Support Squadron, which had an unfortunate acronym, COS. But you learn to ride with that. One thing I got from 9 Squadron was I got a nameplate which had the dinosaur. That was because of my age. And also I had a problem with my eye, and they sent me off to Long Bin. And when I came back, the crew had got an eye patch and painted an eye on it for me. So little things like that, you know, that you remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, I was when I came back, I was at Amberley. I was the admin staff officer there. I also backtracking when I was in the department. I was the team leader for a 6 weeks overseas trip to America and Europe and UK, dealing with micrographics. At that stage, we were looking at getting the paper technical publications into some form of, you know, micrographics as it was then. We hadn't gone on to computers. So I was involved with that. Gave a presentation to the Chief of Air Force Technical Services. But then computers came in and that overtook it, and of course everything's all done on computer. And the guys take a laptop out to the aircraft, and instead of taking a great big book. So I think it's a good idea. Yeah. I was then involved with Expo 88. I was selected as the Air Force Liaison Officer for Expo. So as well as being CO of the Admin Squadron, I also had to spend time in at Expo. And it's amazing how many friends you suddenly found you had. Senior officers as well, yeah, wanting to, you know, come up and have a special trip into Expo.
I think it was Expo 88 where the Squadron did a demonstration on the river.
Yes.
With 2 of their Chinooks.
Yes, they would have. Yeah. That's right. And one squadron had the F-111 simulator in at Expo, so that was good.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was involved with that. Involved with the Australia Pavilion. So I don't think there's much else. Oh yes, then when I was eventually posted after Amberley, I was posted to Joint Exercise Planning, which was Navy, Army, Air Force. And this was fine from my point of view because I had Navy background, I had Air Force background, and I'd had a lot of liaison with the Army. So the boss I had initially was very good. Then I was told to organise all the VIP visits to Kangaroo 89 up in Darwin. So
were you based in Canberra for that?
I was based in Canberra. I spent a lot of time with the Americans, flying up in their aircraft from Canberra. I was given free rein by my boss. He said, your task is to fix it. He said, I don't want to know, just fix it. So I did. And we had all the VIPs come and looked after them, organised the C-130s up and back. And then I was then posted sideways in JEPS to be the senior amongst the seniors, the senior coordinator for the Joint Exercise Planning, where I had other wing commanders, same rank as me, but my boss said, you're responsible for the whole lot.
Right, so you had seniority because of your experience and age?
Well, that's right, and I think my background as well with the basic tri-service. And then I was posted from there to Townsville. That was the last posting, and then back to Caloundra to retire. Well, I came back to Amberley and then retired.
What did you do in Townsville?
I was the staff officer admin for the Headquarters Operations Support Group. My posting, when the posting came out, I was supposed to be also the public relations officer because I'd done that for 3 years at Amberley. I was also the public relations officer. But then by the time I got up there, they had changed that and given that to somebody else. So the last posting wasn't as satisfactory as what I had hoped. But that's okay. That's the way it goes. I'd had, out of my time in the Navy, I'd served time on 4 ships. So Far East Strategic Reserve twice. So on my medals, I've got a class for Malaya, I've got a class for Far East Strategic Reserve, as well as Vietnam.
Yeah, awesome.
So,
and so, how old were you when you retired?
55. My wife said to me, she said, what are you going to do? She said, you can't go and play golf or go fishing 7 days a week. So I said, oh, okay. So before I got out, I went down to University of New England and got my REIQ ticket. And we got involved with managing resorts. So we did that for a while. We got on with a big company, and they were, he was Mr. Big, and he had at least 6 resorts. And what he got us to do was we were the relief managers. So when the managers that he had wanted to go on holidays, they'd say, well, go and check with Heather and Colin, and if they can come, you can go. So we used to go down. They had 4 on the Gold Coast, 1 in Brisbane, and 1 on the Sunshine Coast. So that was good. That was, extra.
Management right up your alley.
That's right. And then I got involved with barbershop singing. My wife, it's her fault. She saw a little ad in one of the throwaway papers, saying barbershop people were looking for guys to come and sing. She said, you'd be interested in this. And I said, oh yeah, okay. So she cut it out and put it on the bench. And the next day she said, have you rung that guy yet? I said, oh, no, I will. And this went on for 3 days. And I said, okay, I'll go and ring him. So I rang him, and I went up to a rehearsal. I was hooked. Loved it. And then I was fortunate enough to get in a quartet, and we sang all over Australia and New Zealand. Yeah, we only went to New Zealand. We didn't go any further than that.
Yeah, wonderful.
14 years.
Did you do recordings?
We did some, yes. We weren't happy with the final result, so didn't proceed any further. But
Okay. Yeah.
but we sang. Our main task was to be an entertaining quartet. I mean, we sang in all the competitions, but we weren't a competition quartet. We loved to sing around tables. We'd go to a function, and we'd sing to this table, and we'd sing to that table. We'd go to restaurants, and we'd start humming away, and then the manager would come out and say, oh, look, somebody over there's got a birthday. Oh, okay, we'll go and sing with them. Yeah, so it was interesting. It was an interesting time. Yeah. When we finished that in 2012, because one guy went to Greece, one guy went to Eagleby, one guy went to, because we were based on the Sunshine Coast at that stage, and the other guy went to Deception Bay, that's right. And clever as I am, I can't sing 4 parts at once.